Forza Horizon 6. This screen's gonna get older now, I'm sorry. But this is important for the future of the game. Yes, we are talking about the most significant change to the Forza Horizon franchise in, the last 5 games, in my opinion. I hate to do the whole YouTuber thing, but this could genuinely make or break the game. This could go either way. We have seen it happen in this franchise exactly. We are talking about progression. Do you like that? Pretty cool. So to cover all the bases, I'm going to split this up into categories. The first category, we're going to talk about the most important part as to run up as to talk about progression. Why? And more directly, why now? This is something that we've been asking for a long time, but there are people that are a little bit worried about it. And granted, this will change the dynamic of the game. For years, it's kind of been funny to point and laugh at Forza Horizon as being the game that just throws things at you, throws things at you. But something needs to change to basically keep you playing, because quite honestly, the dynamic, the reason that they'll even get budget for another game has changed. See, normally back in the day, you would say, I want to buy game, and then you would buy game. You see, Xbox is making a bit of a change. Xbox has kind of gone from the focus of being a platform, and they want to be more software. Like Microsoft, I guess. But they're going for a Game Pass first priority. And Game Pass changes things because, for example, Call of Duty apparently lost $300 million in sales that they would have normally got. That's because you can now just access the game. And that's one game. What that means is there's a bit of a priority shift. Previously, they want you to buy the game, and so they would make the best game ever, and then you would buy it, and then that's the end of the story. Once they've got your money, they are absolutely laughing, and then they release the next one and the next one. But things are changing, and the focus now is to get you to play for longer. If you play for longer, they can justify more budget for the next game or more bonuses for those in charge. It is an absolute monumental shift that no one really talks about that's going to change how these games are developed and published and released. We actually had a massive shift like this on YouTube itself quite a few years ago now. Back in the day, there used to be reply girls. I don't know if you remember this, but they would post thumbnails replying to like PewDiePie with cleavage in the thumbnail. Those videos would get millions of views because obviously men be men. So YouTube changed the reward to be more about retention. So the longer people watch, the better. And we're talking about how videos perform or push to other people beyond the people that are watching and how much money is made. So there we went from like 4-minute videos to giving you the best experience in a short, concise moment to how long can we make this video but keep it entertaining? There's of course variants, caveats. This is a Microsoft specific IP, so it's a little bit different. They're always going to want to have a system seller, and if this is a system seller, then they can sell you GTA. Things have settled with Game Pass, and so now the significant change is here. It's already here. What do you mean here? The progression's the same as always in Forza Horizon 5, right? Right? Yes, of course, we are talking about Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. This is actually the second time they did this, but they made some huge changes. In fact, just as I was teleporting to this island, I was met with this screen where I couldn't actually pick the car that I wanted. I was limited, locked to a class, and this is the most recent, well, Forza Horizon instance of progression. And I wanted to come back and explore it, and so I thought I may as well do it with you at the same time so we can get a bit of an idea of where they've been and what they might do differently. Playground Games, or at least the Playground Games that we know, has not built a progression other than this. Actually, to be fair, they lost quite a few staff after making this Hot Wheels expansion, so this was the last thing they did before the leads, like, left. Event complete, and we just kind of stand here. This has got to be different next time, I think. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. This actually plays significantly different to the base game, and it's probably why I haven't bothered. Now, let me let you in on a little secret here. As much as I love progression, favorite word, maybe my favorite word of racing games, I actually don't like it when a game that doesn't have progression in the normal sense usually forces progression in an expansion. And this is not just a Forza thing. Need for Speed is easily my favorite racing series, and I love that they unlock all the customization for you to get whenever you wish to do so, but for the most part. What I hate is in the car pass, when you unlock the car, you don't get all the customization. You have more grinding to do. I think it's stupid. it should be consistent. If that's one way in the base game, it should be the same way in the expansion. Otherwise, you're going to jar the audience and myself included, unless you change the whole pissing structure of the game. But anyway, the progression here, yeah, it's interesting. The idea is we have got these objectives. These are the main objectives. For example, smash a tank balloon. Apparently. We also have these minor missions, which also then add up to collecting medals. There you can see the rewards, you can see the cars you can unlock, laid out straight to the point, and what it gives us is the most basic form of progression I have probably ever seen in a game in the last 20 years. I think it kind of sucks. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like it, but it is very much inspired by the Hot Wheels games, and so I think there's a bit of inspiration there. A good point of this is Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. They themselves had a bit of a grind, and I like a grind, but not that much grind. I don't like a lot of artificialness blocking me from doing certain things. For example, I think what it needs to do is give me access to buying the cars whenever the fuck I want to do. If I go off and grind the same mission 50, 60, 75 times, I should be allowed to buy whatever I want. Do not artificially lock the cars and artificially lock me from upgrading those cars. If I went off and found a way to make money on my damn own, I should be able to play it how I want to play it. That is absolutely a thing in pretty much every damn game to exist. I'm not talking about special cars here. If there's some like Audi R8, like a, you know, Midnight Club LA that you unlock through lots and lots of effort and grinding, I think it's fine to have special reward cars. But I don't think it's okay to force me to drive cars that I can't be asked to drive. I already progressed in this game. Don't make me do it again. It makes me not want to do it. But this isn't the most recent form of progression that Forza has done. And as we know, there are still some people confused about this, both Playground Games and Turn 10 are working on Forza Horizon 6. Turn 10 has been stripped. Officially, they've been cut in half, and they are now a support studio for Forza Horizon. They will be working on the tech side of things, likely, because they are the ones that made the engine. What else they're doing is yet to be seen. They might just be the PlayStation Port studio after that. But I think this still quite loosely structured, but then forcibly loosely structured progression system is not great. Let me buy what I want, whether I can use in events or not. That is a different story. I can sell cars in Forza, so let me not feel stupid. You don't have to handhold me that much. This is where we move to Forza Motorsport. The back of the car looks so funny. This is where the most significant progression change happened, and they made some changes to it, essentially basically jerry-rigging it to work. It's still a little weird and naff and messy, but again, you can clearly see in this game, what they did was try and make it so that you play more of this game. They want you to grind it out so that you actually get more playtime, which is generally a benefit, but there's beyond a point where in this game, I did absolutely nothing. We could argue about the menu design and stuff, we'll talk about that, but let's go on to career mode and show you how much I've done. Yep. You're welcome. Didn't touch it. Now, I think Forza just naturally has a bit of an issue here. And the reality is, they for so long have given you everything. If they make such a drastic change and they make it aggressive like they did here, then I think there's gonna be trouble. I, as someone that for a living plays racing games, I have not done anything beyond the intro. The system is still in place, kind of, but not really, because they tried to strip it out and make it a little bit more accessible, but they now stripped down to a support studio, and this game will not get any updates like that ever again. Unless they all of a sudden decide that maybe Forza Motorsport should, then it's very unlikely. You don't actually use money to buy these upgrades. You have to drive the car. And I don't know how, if you remember, what you had to do to really upgrade cars very easily is set them to drive around and around and around the same course as much as possible so you could upgrade your cars. That was not okay with anyone. Fun fact for you, this is going to be the same engine, so get a look. This is Horizon here. Yeah, it's probably actually going to look a little bit nicer. I don't know, it's hard to say. Horizon normally looks a little bit nicer. They're redoing some of the car models, for example, for the next Forza, which will be the Horizon game. But overall, I think it looks fine. It's good. Maybe a bit better. I don't know, something about Horizon always looks a little bit more inviting. Anyway, let's attempt to drive this as I explain to you a little bit more about this progression. Because quite honestly, if it became this level, and of course, you've got to remember, they were going for a more hardcore motorsport experience. And so in this instance, it kind of makes sense that they could have made something a little bit more aggressive and probably gotten away with it. But no one was happy with it. No, I can't tell you one person that said that this was a good progression system, except people that didn't play the game and they got damn Master Chief as their icon on Twitter. Them types, you know what I'm saying? Them types, the ones that are like, oh, Gran Turismo, best game ever. And they got Nathan Drake as them people. They don't play games. All they had to do is follow the structure of normal, but not give us wheel spins constantly. And they didn't do that. They completely removed wheel spins, cool. And then added a progression where you would unlock money and cars, cool. And then it went a step too far and made it so that you must drive the car 50 million laps to make sure that you can upgrade it. Again, they did change it, but it was a long time after. It took them way too long. And realistically, people move on very quickly with games these days, unless there's significant upgrades coming to the game constantly. And that didn't happen with this. So what you're looking at here is the worst case scenario. And the best news I've got for you, friends, is that they don't listen to me at all. So you're very welcome. You can not blame me if it ends up exactly like this game. I said it is shite, and they were like, we can't listen to him anymore. He said something bad. And then the studio closed. All right, now we know what not to do. Let's talk about what I think they should do for Forza Horizon 6 progression. Because I've cooked up an idea, and again, I don't expect them to fully take this path, but these are some ideas. Number one, don't lock all the cars behind the progression. I think that would really turn off anyone that's played Forza Horizon in the last 10 years. Number two, let me grind if I want to. If I want to go off and spam some events and get a car that I want to get, then let me do so. Whether that's through getting wheel spins or through actually just doing the events or the multiplayer or whatever. Don't force me to play the campaign if I don't want to do the campaign. Number three, if you actually want people to play and progress, you're gonna need a proper narrative. And I think, unfortunately for you guys, I know it's expensive, it's a bit... You've never really done a proper narrative beyond the first game, so I don't imagine most people are still there from the first game. That's not how studios work. But instead of being like, oh, we're in Mexico, let's take over and build up festival sites, I'm gonna need something more than that, and people are bored of that idea, so we gotta have something fresh here, guys, all right? Expand the world gradually is another point, because generally in this game, you could just go for it. And I don't necessarily mean lock people out of exploring it if they want to. Some people want to jump online and play with their friends and not do anything else, and that's absolutely fine. You should facilitate that gameplay. But what you should do is reward people for exploring it through the campaign. For example, give us information about some of those areas. Maybe unlock types of gameplay that change based on the map location. Are you taking us to a racetrack? Then we go, all right, now we racing. Next point is keep it consistent throughout. This is a point I must hammer home. And this may be the controversial one, but I say tie super wheel spins to the progression of the game. People are gonna hate me for saying that. That's just an example, but I think it might be a nice way to make them feel a little bit more rewarding. The problem isn't the wheel spins in themselves, it's the frequency of the wheel spins. And maybe make it so it's still maybe just as easy to get the normal wheel spins, but to get the super wheel spins, which maybe guarantees, I mean, it already kind of does guarantee a pretty good reward. What you got to do is something of significance. You've got to get earning those wheel spins in a way that we haven't actually done before. Because right now it's very easy to level up, very easy to get the super wheel spins and wheel spins to the point where every single time I play this game, I jump in and I've got 50 of them. I just don't use them. It makes it feel like my effort isn't rewarded, and that is the sticking point, the pain point, that then you get thrown into the festival playlist and it's completely different and it's incredibly jarring. Do let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think they should just not and keep it exactly as it is and they should not change a single thing? and they actually aren't adding progression maybe, and people are just looking at that tagline and thinking, yeah, I think he's pushing a little bit too hard here, looking too deep into it. That's kind of what I do. Everyone's saying it, not just me. Don't just point it at me, okay?